Welcome everyone to the double header. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Super excited to have a second podcast on the same day. Just about an hour ago, I actually met with Demarcus, the head founder and CEO of B Cloud Engineers. We actually had a great conversation about how he got started in becoming a cloud engineer, as well as giving us tips and tricks on how to actually figure out what field within the cloud space that we should look into. Now I have the privilege to invite someone else onto this platform that's going to highlight his digital nomad lifestyle, places he's been to, as well as his profession, and giving you guys tips on how you too can make close to $200,000 a year as a digital nomad. Yes, I said $200,000 a year as a digital nomad. We're not talking about customer service where you could just pay someone to get. No, we're speaking six figures, guys, where you can make six figures while living overseas and living your best life. And with that being said, I'm proudly to introduce this gentleman right here. I've been hell of impressed in how he maneuvers and all the receipts that he's shown on his YouTube channel, and also had the chance to really get to know him offline. And again, this guy is very impressive. I mean, not too often I'm impressed by someone, but I'm completely impressed by this gentleman. So with that being said, I want to welcome everyone. Tobias the Traveler. Welcome, man. How you doing?
Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you. Thank you. Life is good. I appreciate, the warm words.
No problem, man. I've been a big fan, man. I actually came across you by accident. I saw a video what you did when you got drugged in Colombia. That's one of
Yeah.
my first introduction of you. I was like,
That's how I gotta say a
yeah.
lot of people discovered me. They were like, "Oh, this man went through it."
But you know what? You are the first person to openly admit that they got drugged. I've been going to Colombia since 2015, and
Okay.
I met several guys that have been drugged, but they kept it to themselves. But you were the first one to just say, "Hey, you know what? You were the first black man to come out and say, hey, you know what? I got drugged, and this is how you need. This. Here are the tips that you need to do to get avoided and not getting drugged." So I want to say first, thank you so much for doing that because again, a lot of us, especially as black men, we get into our egos where we feel like you know what, I'm gonna just take this L silently and not tell anybody. But you actually came out on your platform and shared your story, which I think is still one of the highest viewing video on YouTube channels. I mean, show you had or
Yes, yeah. Right now, it is the highest viewed video that I have. At the moment, I have one that's actually I'm pretty sure is going to surpass it. It's
okay.
moving pretty quick towards that. But that was the video that like got me started, or at least got my name out there in front of a whole bunch of people. So yeah, that was a hell of an experience. That was what I'm not looking to repeat, and I don't
Yeah, yeah,
suggest
definitely.
anybody try that in the name of clout or whatever it is. Just like, oh, I did that, I survived. No, you don't want that.
No, no, and the fact that you were able to share your stories again, not too many people actually will openly admit that they've been drugged and robbed. So for you to do that, thank you for educating the public. Like that was during what? That was 2 years ago, or about a year ago.
No, that was this past July.
Oh wow. Okay, okay.
This was July, man. Like I shot that video because I got drugs, right? Well, hold on, we don't want to even say that word with the
Yeah.
algorithm. Yeah, I got scoped. All right, it wasn't even that drug; it was something else, right? They put something else in my drink called clozapine, but I ended up on the short side of the stick on it was July 17th, 2022. That was the date it actually happened. So it was like, late Saturday or like early Sunday morning, sometime between like 1:30 and like 2:30 or something like that. So then a couple days later, right after I was actually able to, recoup a little bit, I had to get up out of that spot. So I went to I went to a hotel because I had an Airbnb. Went and got me like the nicest suite they had, and I shot the video. I actually filmed it twice. I actually filmed it in that same building, right where it happened. But then I'm like, nah, I'm like, let me see if let me shoot this one more time. So I shot it again, and the in the suite that I had, and it was just like a much better look. And yeah, I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and drop this video. Then next thing you know, probably like a month or something like that, month and a half passes, and folks start telling me, "Hey man, I went and told my story on BMT's channel, and because people were talking about it, they got dropped in the Passport Bros group,
Yeah.
and that's how it like took off. That's exactly how my content was discovered initially. So was that
Well,
that
I mean, guys. Granted, we don't want Tobias to try to be known as the guy that was uh, that fell asleep. Guys, he has a lot of
nicely
content.
involuntarily
Yeah.
involuntarily slept.
uh, Tobias has, I mean, Tobias the Traveler has a lot of great content, and he's here to share that content with you guys as well as his profession as a digital nomad. This guy has an impressive career and resume, and we want to take the time, Tobias, just to highlight you as a traveler and give our audience, tips and tricks on how to become the next successful six figures digital nomad. So you got the floor.
Okay, so I work. Well, we'll start it off right. Well, how I just traveling in general. How it started with me. I was a kid, and growing up, I did a lot of martial arts, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, I was real good at karate, like winning a bunch of tournaments and all that. Karate comes from Japan. I want to go to Japan to train with the masters there so I can, get that experience. This is how, my desire to travel like came about, was because of, doing martial arts. And I didn't get there as a kid because we was broke, right? My boy, you ain't going to no Japan with no ninjas. No, that just, what a thing, man. Coming from a single parent home, man. Just, man, it was, it was real tough growing up. But I always had that desire. I remember watching National Geographic, and I see some white dude, in Tanzania or wherever else around the world, got his feet in the sand, eating the food, right, smelling the air, and I'm like, nah, I want that. That's gonna be me. And I also remember just reading encyclopedias on, I'll go to to the library, go to get the B encyclopedia, and I got Brazil, or I got Bosnia, or Burma. I'm just reading as much as I can about these countries, and I'm like, whoa, because America didn't seem interesting to me. Although we do have a rich and colorful history here. Uh, I was just attracted to other countries. So I knew, as I became a man, or as becoming a man growing up, I was going to be traveling the world. I was going to be living abroad. So that's kind of how. That's not kind of how. That's how I got into it. And 2004 came around. Ended up going to Thailand, with my ex-wife, and we was there for a minute. So we spent some time there, like a lot. So like I said, I have a very intimate knowledge of the culture. So, because I was already married into it before, like folks like, oh, did you and your wife meet in Thailand? I'm like, nah, we met in the States. We met in Sacramento, California. So, yeah, there's some people talk about that all the time, but yeah, man. So I was already married into the culture, eating food, just it was already a part of me, and yeah, I was in Thailand for a bit, come back, go again back to Thailand. I mean, I was doing a lot of traveling between here and there. So actually taking my son back there in June. So that's gonna be a real good look. Yeah, he hasn't been in a while. So, he and I about to make that happen, that father-son trip. And but I in how I really after with the digital nomad thing, 2012, I said I got into tech, right? 2010, right? I honestly first on the tech, when I first got into tech, I was only doing customer service stuff. That means answering the emails, right? And I was working at a company called Kabam in San Francisco. And they make strategy games, for mobile. And initially, we were making games on Facebook because if you remember back in the day, people, Facebook games, Farmville, and all that was heavily played on Facebook before they moved to mobile devices. And I was just 'cause well, prior to that, I was running a kickboxing gym for a while, and I got bored of that. Then moved on to to just applied. I said at Kabam, got hired. Again, just doing player support. Like I said, answering emails, no phone calls, none of that, right? Just helping folks play to, give them their little gold and their little diamonds and all of those other stuff back that they wasted, which is all right, neither here nor there. Then I ended up getting laid off, right, from that company. After about a little over a year, company restructured without me and a bunch of other people. So I applied for this other company, and the name of the company is called Wooga, Wooga, or World of Gaming. And when I saw the advertisement, it was on the website. Indeed, I kind of just like skimmed through it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I'm looking at it. I can, they basically, I can do all the work that they need me to do, because it was supposed to be what was called a country manager, which is a glorified customer service rep.
Okay.
So yeah, now uh, I sent them my resume. They hit me up and they're like, "Hey, Tobias, we like your CV. Let's kick things off with a Skype call." I'm like, "This is Skype, man. No one's doing Skype calls in early 2012, man. Not for a job interview." So that's when I actually looked at the company's website and I discovered that they were in Berlin, and that's Berlin, Germany. So go through and had my first interview, and it was a great call. Dude who was my boss who was going to be my boss, and it was like Jan. Jan was like, "Yo, man, I really like you. I'm feeling you. You're cool. I usually don't do this, but I'm gonna put my stamp of approval on your CV, and we'll be a resume, and we'll be in contact." 2 days later, I get hit up by chick Kaiser, and get hit up by Kaiser, and hey, Jan wants to interview you again, but do you want to have uh, it's going to be a little bit longer of an interview. Do you want to do an interview, on Skype again? Or if you want, we'll fly you here to Berlin for a face-to-face interview. I'm like, fly me to Berlin. And, they like, well, why? And I'm like, well, if I'm going to work for the company, right, and I have to actually live there, I want to be able to meet the team face to face, right? I want to be able to see the city. Do I even like it? Even though you're not going to know if you really like a city in just like a couple days over a weekend. But I said, well, meet the team, see the city, and I forgot what else I said. But they bought me a plane ticket, flew me to Berlin for a face to face interview. I mean, I left on a Wednesday. I got there late Thursday night. I interviewed on Friday. I partied on Friday night and Saturday night. Flew back to Cali from Berlin on Sunday morning. Got back here late Sunday night, woke up Monday, had an offer from them, and 5 weeks later I moved to Germany.
Wow.
And yeah, so yeah, that's how I got to Germany. So this was a job. And another thing with the company, a lot of companies, when you move there for a role, they're gonna hook you up. So they're typically gonna take care of your relocation fees. So if it's you and your family, they're gonna take care of all that. They're gonna get you housing. They're gonna pay for all that probably for like the first couple of months. They're gonna give you a signing bonus, because I got that. I got a signing bonus. I got my relocation taken care of. They paid for my visa fees, all the stuff that you probably have to normally do by yourself. The company sponsored me, so it was like smooth, man. I mean, I said my apartment was in a really nice area, though I couldn't afford it at the time, because I was doing like customer service work, but they still paid for it for that first 3 months. Then I ended up getting another apartment. But now, how I got into product management, because that's what I do now, right? And people a lot of times ask, well, what kind of products do you manage? That's why I don't usually tell people product manager, because it doesn't tell you about the job. And one of the best ways to like define product management is, as a product manager, you're the person, right, that your goal is to first like understand the business goals, discover what customer pain points there are, right, and then find which of those pain points align with those with the business goals, and then find a solution that meets those pain points. So what does that mean? A great example of this is long time ago, right? Phone companies, right, start putting cameras on their cell phones, right? Everybody remembers that, like if you're old enough. So, like when the Razor got got a camera on it, the first I forgot which other phones, like the Nokia 7600, they started putting cameras on phones, but there's a big problem. You can take pictures with those phones, but then how do you share those pictures, right? How do you transfer those pictures to your friends, your family, right, onto your computer? It was a hard problem, right? It was a very, very tough problem. You got to, have this cord connected to your computer, send it as an email to somebody. That's a lot of work. So well, what's the solution to that? What's the easiest way to, now that we do it all day? right? With share photos. I can send a picture message. Somebody thought of that. Someone like me thought of that. That's what the product manager does. The problem, right, is I want to be able to share my photos that I took on my phone. The business problem is, hey, we want to create more engagement or a better experience with our phones for our customers. What problems align with that? Oh, that one, I want to share my photos. How can we actually, or how might we improve this experience for our customers so they like our service even more? And who else isn't doing this right now? And it's kind of quick. You are right now. You'll never be able to buy a phone that does not allow you to send picture messages because it's just it's a standard now.
Yeah.
But that's what product management does. Our goal is to find the best solution that right for the customer that meets the business goals, but does it in a really, really simple way. And it seems like it can be easy, but it's really not. It's actually pretty tough, but it's a lot of fun. I gotta say that it's kind of, people say, oh, it's like research and development. It is very similar to that, but it's not just research and development. Once we, find the problem and we actually come up with uh, the solution itself, you do that collaboratively, with your UX designers. I can go into those roles or that role. You're working with your software engineers. You're working with other stakeholders like, director of sales, director of marketing, director of customer support and all that stuff. And then like the leadership team. You build this thing, this solution, and then you ship it, meaning, it hits the market. How is it actually performing? How do you know it's actually, moving the needle? Because, you made the goal may be, hey, we also want to see an increase in sales, right?
Mhm.
Of, this phone, right? This is, we want to see an increase in sales by like 15% by this date. So now since you ship it, it's up to you to measure, oh, hey, are we actually hitting those numbers, right? We said we're going to build this thing. Let's see if it actually does it. So,
Well,
right. So, yes,
well,
yes.
yeah. It's funny because I work with product managers.
Hmm.
As the marketing guy, marketing manager, marketing director, it's my responsibility to work to be your partner at the table to
Hmm.
understand those pain points. Because like what I do is like as you build a product, it's my responsibility to build out the personas and how we're going to target our audience based on the product features. So again,
Correct.
I've worked with the product team, with the sales team, with the research, with the research team, and we all sit down together, figure out okay, how can we get this product that Tobias created or actually enhanced to the market, and how can we convince them? So what we do is on my end, we define a persona. A persona is who's the person that we're targeting. Are we
Yeah.
targeting the CTOs? Are we targeting the decision makers or the influencers? And from there, are we identifying their pain points? So everything you're saying, I'm sitting back here smiling like, yeah, I talk to you guys every day because like
Yeah.
if in order for me to promote and sell this product, I need to understand what this product does. And by doing that, I have to partner with Tobias to get a full understanding, okay, what this product actually does and what's the added benefits and what are the pain points that we're currently addressing. So everything you're saying, guys, I'm exposed to that every day in my role as a marketing director or marketing consultant, and I work closely with the product team as well as with the sales team as well.
Is it? Yeah, no, that's exactly, the thing, right? Because product management and marketing, like product marketing, we work hand in hand, right? Product marketing is actually one of my stakeholders. So if I say, hey, I want to build X based on X, Y, and Z, you would say, oh, hey, that's great, but we're hearing this from
Yeah.
the market, right? We're hearing that. Can you actually add this feature also, or this little small tidbit, or can you tweak it a little bit to look like this or something? And we go back and forth, right? We have those conversations. That's the collaboration that
Yep.
is there. That's why I said we collaboratively build solutions. It's not just, oh, hey, I think we should do this, right? But you have inputs, right? The sales director has inputs. The customer support, right? Our front line, the front line, which is anytime there's problems, they're gonna call customer support or send an email to them folks first. So you're all stakeholders, and everybody's input is relevant, not just to bias. Oh, hey, you're gonna build this thing and it's gonna be the greatest. I try, but I mean, okay, some of the best ideas typically don't come from me. They don't come from marketing, right? They don't come from sales team. They actually come from engineers because they understand the code, right? They understand the technology and what we can do with it, Because we'll think of something, oh, this and that and that, and they'll be like, well, that sounds kind of cool, but we can actually do something, a combination of this and that. Like, oh, we right. So yeah, engineers are got to have them guys on the team. But as far as let me I've been getting off like a lot into the role itself. Let me get back into how I got the role. So uh, while I was at Wooga, right, I'm playing, our games. I'm playing our competitors' games. I'm, reading like reviews on like, the App Store. I'm reading, the Facebook fan pages, and I noticed a lot of our competition, right? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with King. They make Candy Crush Saga. If you're King, who else? There was Kixeye. There's Zynga, right? Now, a lot of this, their players were having a great time, a great experience. They were very, very happy. I know this because I'm just reading the reviews. And our players, our users weren't. So I was at every week, we'd have an all hands meeting where our CEO Jens would ask, like, or not ask questions, but he would provide us with direction of the company, tell us how much money we made, week over week, and, what the next set of goals are for the business. So, like, all right, cool. And that's one thing I liked. But I was also asking a ton of questions like, hey, King is doing this, right? So they have this game, which is similar to ours, right? We have, what game was that? Diamond Dash, right? We got Diamond Dash, and they have I forgot the game that was similar to ours, but their players like their game a lot more. And actually, we're losing players. I can see that downward trend. We're kind of losing players week over week, and they got this new feature though that kind of came out right when we started losing players. So, asking all these questions, right, led to my boss coming up to me. He's like, hey, Tobias, all the questions you've been asking haven't gone unnoticed, and there's some people in the company that want to talk to you. You used to own or run a kickboxing gym, right? I go, yeah, I used to do that. Okay, are you free tomorrow? All right. So we set up this meeting, and I didn't know I was walking into another job interview. So they started asking me about, questions about like, hey, acquiring a customer, right? Acquiring a customer, how if you got a brick and mortar store, how are you going to get that person in your doors, right? Then how are you going to engage that person? How are you going to provide them with, service? Then how are you going to retain that person, keep them coming back in your doors, right? And then monetization even further, right? Monetization at a kickboxing gym typically would just be, or any gym, is just you paying your monthly dues,
membership fees, subscriptions.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a lot more you can do to monetize your customer base at a kickboxing gym. You can sell them gloves. I can sell you shin guards. I can sell you mouthpiece. I can sell you hand wraps, right? I can do personal training, like one-on-ones. We can have smoker matches. There's a lot more ways you can actually monetize your customer base, right? And that's also providing a deeper level of engagement, but it'll also create the retention you need to keep your people coming back in your doors, right? That leads to extended customer lifetime value, right? Or LTV, lifetime value.
Yep.
And so I'm telling them about my experiences, and they're like, whoa, you know what? You've been doing great at that customer support role, but with the skills you have already from, having your gym, we actually think you'd be better as a product manager. And you don't have the technical skills just yet, but we have a team here that can help. You can lean on them; they'll help build you up. It's going to be a hard transition, and it was a very hard transition because there were some things missing there. Right? There's some skills I just didn't have, but I had to learn them quick. And as a product manager, you're always learning. But I transitioned from customer support into it was actually an associate or junior, same thing, product manager role on a game called Jelly Splash. And I mean, you can still get Jelly Splash. It's on the App Store right now. If you go download Jelly Splash, I'm the person who built the first 40 levels of the game.
Wow. Okay.
I built those, and it was a lot of fun, man. I gotta say. So, that's how I got into product management. And I mean, then and now, salary wise, Berlin doesn't really pay a lot. Like most jobs aren't going to be paying a ton of money.
Starting out, I mean, let's take a step back. Starting out, It's all about the experience, guys. If you're coming out of college, or you starting at a lower level position, don't worry about the money. The money's going to come. It's all about the experience, getting all the right experience and exposure. Trust me. When I came out of college, I was making $40,000, and to me that was a lot because I was broke. But then again, now I'm like five times over that. So it's just like, guys, always understand that whenever you start in your career, especially in the IT world or the product world, yes, you may start a little bit low, but guess what, man? You're gonna make that money back 10 times.
Yes, yes. Now, I also like to be, clear. I like to be very specific with people. When a lot of times, I think when folks hear the word IT, that's really broad.
Hmm.
Versus, you have, hardware and software. When I think of IT, I typically think of, hardware or those who are managing, networks, building the networks, or maybe, I'm having a
Program.
problem with my login, right? And I need you to, send me a new laptop or whatever, right? That's what I think of when I hear IT. And then when I think of software development, that's, hey, we over here building the programs that are on your computer,
Yeah.
right? That's so yeah, I do like to, like, at least make sure people know the difference between the two. So I work in software development, right, which is the building of applications on your mobile phone, right? So any app that's on your phone, you tap that icon, somebody like me is responsible for the ideas and all that stuff, to get it actually working and on your phone. So then, same thing for any application or any, like, even your browsers, right? Google Chrome, that's actually software. So someone has to actually build that. So, and another thing, I'm what's called a front end, right? Product manager, a front end product manager. I'm responsible for everything that shows up on the screen, right? So whether it's your phone screen or your computer screen, that's what I deal with. And it usually has what's called, an interface or a UI, user interface, the buttons you click and all that stuff, how everything's positioned, the layout, the design. That's what I work with. And you have back end product managers. Those are the back end PMs or back end product managers are typically they're former engineers. They've written a ton of code. Excuse me. And they are responsible for how things a lot of times communicate. So if you create your Instagram profile, you'll sure those photos were originally on your phone and you're uploading them to Instagram, but they don't live on the Instagram like app front end per se, right? Just like when you scroll through it, it might take a little time, and then your pictures show up. Well, those photos live in like the back end; they live in a database, and the app actually does what's called make a call, right, or a request to the database. Hey, I need these pictures, and then the database shoots those over to your phone as quick as it can, right? Depending on what your internet speeds are, to populate those on your phone. So your back end guys or your back end product managers are responsible for defining how things are going to work for what you don't see. And then you also have something called APIs, right? Or an application programming interface. Though that's kind of like how two programs talk to each other. So you got, easy. Oh, you know what? You got old school. So you got a cup on one side, a cup on the other. And remember that string, right? You still, I can hear you. Can you talk? You talking in one cup, and then, the sound travels along that wire, right? That string, and you could be 40 feet away, 50 feet away, but you can hear the person. That's what an API is. It's like the string right between two cups. So it is the string between two apps that allow them to communicate. And again, you will define what can go into that and stuff like that. Credit cards, anytime you make a credit card payment, the way you click send and stuff goes out, your card number goes out. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's encrypted on that line that a back-end product manager is going to be responsible for, just so people understand.
And I could chime in as well, guys. I'm also in the IT space, but I don't really deal with devices. I'm more on the marketing and selling of IT solutions. So I work for I contract my services out to a lot of SaaS companies, software companies that want to get their product out there to the audience. So it's my job to work with Tobias to understand how to position the solution or product to the audience. And from there, I'll create all the digital marketing campaigns you see all over LinkedIn, social media, using content syndication. Again, this is where I come in, as well as working with the sales team. I'll train the sales team how to promote the product. So if they do have a client, a potential client, I will advise, okay, this is the playbook that you need to follow to close this deal. So again, we kind of all work together without closely working together. So we're all in the same circle. We all have our own unique roles within the IT space.
Correct. I mean, it's you mentioned the word personas, right? And a persona typically is like would be like a group of people,
Mhm.
right, represented as one.
Right.
And like it's kind of like, hey, you got Jill. She's an avid photographer. She shoots with a DSLR, and she shoots, wedding events, special events, and sporting events, right? So it's a group of people that all kind of do the same thing, and they all have like similar needs. So it makes it easy to actually build for that one person. Like you build a solution for like
Mhm.
that person versus trying to build for everybody. It's not going to work, right? You can't. Everybody knows you can't make everybody happy.
Yeah.
So right, you find out who you should build for, who's the most important one, or who's what persona will probably spend the most money with you. You find out what their needs are, and then you build solutions to build their needs.
Yeah. And guys, this is not a sexy topic or a fun topic, but you know what? This topic will put you in a position to make some serious money because trust me, we making money. We, we're making it. This may not be a fun topic to talk about, but guys, listen, man, when we get on this plane and go take that trip, we ain't hurting for cash. We good. So, guys, you want to take back, listen to what Tobias has to say. If you are interested in getting to this product side of IT, guys, this is a great field. I work with them. They do make a lot of money. Tobias is being humble right now. I have a general idea of how much he probably makes. So I'm gonna keep it to myself. But guys, this is the line of work where you can make over six figures easy while living in another country if you got the clearance.
True, and it's true. Now, actually, you know what? Now let's talk about clearances.
Yeah.
As a product manager, you don't typically need a clearance, and you do not need any form of certification. There's a couple of different product management schools out there, and like they'll offer you a certification in product, right? Well, a lot of times we just say product, and it means product management. Or if someone says, oh, I work in product, they might be a designer, but they'll typically say, oh, I'm a UX designer. If someone's an engineer, they say I'm an engineer. But yeah, you don't need certifications like that. I've had a few people ask me about like, well, what about like a PMP or a project management professional cert, right? Certification. That's project management is completely different than product management.
Mhm.
Project management is, hey, a lot of times you have like a one project, and they're trying to understand resourcing, right? Which is people. How long, they're worried about people or resourcing. They're worried about uh, deliverables, when something actually going to get done, right? And when can it be expected? Like, hey, we need this by or the business will say, hey, you got a year and a half to build X, and now it's up to the project manager to corral all the resources the business is going to need to try to get that project done, right, in that year and a half. Then you have program managers. Program managers typically manage multiple projects, and they might all have the same timeline,
Mhm.
and it's probably going to fail because things aren't linear in like software development.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, do this and do this and do this and do this. No, you're gonna find something. It's gonna slow you down. Somebody's gonna leave the company. It's just gonna be, it's like this more of the time.
And
Yeah, it's not just some straight line.
and one thing, guys, I could chime in. I do have my project management certification. PMP got mine in 2008.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and guess what? I did not renew it. Once I got it, I was like, I'm done. I'm not taking this damn test ever again. But
Yeah, no.
project management is not product management. So project management is basically managing the life cycle of a project from start to finish. So you want to measure time, people, and budget. So those are three primary areas that you want to focus on. But again, everything what Tobias just said is pretty much on point. Again, these are other areas where you could actually still work remote as digital nomad. But granted, if you are becoming a project manager, man, listen, you better be on top of your game because they rely on you to get this project started and finished on time.
Correct. And the thing, all right, now when we say on time,
Well,
if you don't if you don't get it done
have
on
some
time,
buffers. You better have some buffer between your deliverables.
true. Because if you don't get something done on time, that means the business is spending more money.
Yes.
That right, and if they don't have the budget for that, yeah, it's a problem. But that's how things go, right? That especially within software. So if it's construction,
One thing I love about this, you see two black men talking about this. I've been in spaces where I was the only black guy.
it's the same. I'm always man.
I'm like,
I met one. No, I met two other black product managers now. In
wow,
10 years, I've met two. Now, like I said, we were talking about the money earlier, right?
yeah,
So, okay. In Germany, again, salaries, people, the jobs just ain't paying like that. It's rare when even like a lawyer is going to make 100,000 euros or 150,000 euros. That's not how jobs pay a lot of times in Europe. Here in the States, you work in tech. Oh, I mean, an associate product manager, say if you finished college or maybe you didn't go to college and you take a course, you decide, hey, I'm gonna try to build my own app. You get it out there, you have your learnings, and you start applying for product management jobs. Like, hey, I'm just you trying to get entry level, you still gonna get 100,000, especially in San Francisco. You're going to get 100,000. Now, 100,000 in San Francisco, that ain't no money. That's if you live in San Francisco, but you could be, applying for jobs in San Francisco, but you live in Texas or you live in Nebraska, you live in, Miami or something like that. So the money they're going to pay you based off the San Francisco cost of living, not where you live. So yeah, the money is a lot nicer when you work for Bay Area companies. Gotta say that.
yeah. Actually, the last company I worked for was out of California, so I was making that California money.
Yes.
And California money living in Atlanta, so I was like, hey, I'm good. But guys, not too often you see a lot of us in this field, and I'm just being honest. Similar to the cloud space, when you get to this level, especially more senior level, leadership level, you don't see us. And it's just like it's important that you surround yourself, learn these new skill sets, and know the right people to make sure that you're exposed to all the right projects and campaigns and everything else.
Correct. Now, like I said, my after I came back. I left Germany in 2014, and I moved to Sweden. Got a job in Sweden for a company called Truecaller. Was working there as a product owner. And a product owner and a product manager are different roles, but typically a product manager can also do the job of a product owner. A product owner cannot do the job of a product manager, right?
Hmm.
Because the project or product owner role is pretty much just a subset of product management. Now, but then companies were also kind of like using those terms interchangeably, and they're like, "Oh, you're a product owner." And you were actually a product manager because that's what I was at Truecaller. So, yeah, I moved there, and I think I was. Let's see here. Well, in Berlin, when I got that job, I think I was probably making like the equivalent to like $2,800, like after taxes, because the taxes are very high in Germany and in Sweden. Yeah, I was probably bringing home like the equivalent to like $2,800, but then my rent was only like $500, right? If you got 2,800, you make it 2,800, but your rent is 500. Like, oh, you got a nice little some wiggle room, and then the cost of living is very cheap, right? Like food, I can go get a whole bunch of groceries, fill my whole freezer for 2 weeks for like $55, right? So the cost is that I was making a bit more money, but it's not the same as here. People be like, ah, man, that's not a lot. Or if I want to go party and go keg it, I can go to the store or go to a bar. I'll have a beer. It's only going to cost me like $2, right? Or €2. So €2.75 at the max in Berlin at that time. So, I was doing okay. Then I moved to Sweden, got a job there, right? As I was saying. And, they took me up a bit more. I think I was made after taxes, I was bringing home probably like 3,800, right? So, and then my rent there was in Sweden, they have rent control like throughout the country because it's socialist. My rent was like about $900. So I'm like, oh, I got a bunch more money now that I can play with. I still hadn't cracked six figures just yet because of, again, most jobs outside of the States ain't paying like that unless you're in like Singapore or Australia or something. So, excuse me. And I said, I was left True Caller after about a year because I'm not a good fit for like living in Sweden. I'm not a good fit for that culture. I'm social. I talk to anybody. That's like kind of taboo, just like talking to people you don't know. Like, oh, how you doing? No, they don't like that. I'm the only. Not, it ain't.
Before we continue, what was the difference experience between living in Germany and compared to Sweden?
Night and day. So in Germany, at least in Berlin, it was a coming of age for me, right? Because I was married for a good minute, had to, I ended that, and it was wow. Oh my god. Oh man, I can't go into it like that. Man, it was a whole lot of fun. Oh, people always talk about German girls, German women love black men. They do. So had a great time in Germany. But the difference between Germany, or at least Berlin and Stockholm, people don't talk to each other in Stockholm. They don't. Like, even if people don't want to talk, the only time Swedes don't talk to each other, they won't talk to you unless they've like pretty much known you from kindergarten. And for me, like, say you at the grocery store, or anybody you at the grocery store, the clerk is just slow. Right. Somebody gonna say something. Man, what is taking this person so long? Well, come on, what's taking so long? And then other folks are gonna start chiming in. People just gonna start talking. Right. And it don't matter what they look like. They black, white, Hispanic. People, we talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's a warm culture. Not in Sweden. It's cold. They do not talk at all. They just sit there quiet. I mean, I remember like when I first moved to Sweden, I think it was like the second day I was there, and I was trying to find this park, right? Humlegården. I asked it, and I asked this lady, excuse me, can you tell me how to get to this park, Humlegården? And she looked at me like, clutched her dog in her purse, and she was like, why are you talking to me? And I'm like, I'm just trying to get some directions. I'm new here. Do you have a mobile phone? Yeah, I do. Why don't you use it? Because I don't have a
Wow.
card. And I mean, they can be very standoffish because they think it's their culture, right? It is Sweden is a conformist society, and if you're an individual, it ain't the place for you, right? Honestly, if you're there for a weekend or a week, okay, you might think it's dope because oh man, like people who go to Vegas. Oh, Vegas was, oh my god, I had a great time. But people who live in Vegas are like, nah. I would get asked constantly, why did you move to boring Sweden? Why? What? Yeah, just night and day. Berlin was a much better experience than Sweden was. Like I said, man, for all y'all pill RP folks, you do not want to live in Sweden. You do. If you RP, right, man, you do not. That is going.
Wow.
Yeah, you gonna hate it. Trying to
You know what?
tell you.
It's kind of funny. You have so many guys promoting Sweden, but majority of guys that are promoting Sweden never been to Sweden. I guess they go based on the pictures that they see. They see the tall, blonde, big
Yeah,
boobs, and they assume like, hey, everyone's gonna look like that, and that's not the case.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Most people will talk about Sweden because they saw it on TV, or there was some white guy who wrote an article talking about Swedish women are the most pretty in
Yeah.
the world, but they've never been there. I'm like, look, if you've never spent some time there, you don't know the culture. You don't know what you're talking about. Sure, there's a bunch of attractive women there. There are definitely some stunners. I mean, there are some stunners, but there's stunners everywhere. I can go to Poland, and man, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more fun. Uh, I can go to Serbia because I like brunettes. I just haven't be it, and yeah, I like more darker skinned, and yeah, actually, I'm lying. I like it all. I do have a thing. I do have a thing for short hair, pixie blondes. Oh, that is my people will tell you the same thing. But you Sweden, nah, it's. I say if someone wants to go to Sweden, they want to go to Stockholm, get there on go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you might as well go ahead and fly out Sunday morning. You don't need to get there no other time. Nope, just buy. That's enough.
Wow. Well, hey guys, you heard it, man. Sweden is not the spot to go. If you do go there, just go there for 3 days and leave Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Get on out, man. Honestly, just like Vegas, right? You might because man, you could be. Well, you could probably go to Vegas for a little longer, but like Stockholm, and only go there in the summertime. If it's not, between like middle of May and like June 23rd or something like that, ain't no either. Unless you know people there. Nah, you got like 5.5 weeks
So
of
let me ask you, because the fact that you were based out of Germany, you actually had the privilege to actually travel to other neighboring countries, right? So what countries did you go to while you were living in Germany?
Oh well, while living in Europe, man, I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
here. Okay, man, let's see here. Let's see, went to Poland a bunch of times, went to Budapest, Hungary, went to Croatia a bunch. Got to give up. We went to Croatia a lot. Actually, so I was dating this Croatian chick, and going to Rijeka, Opatija, and Pula. These three nice little seaside towns, quite a bit. Serbia, oh, that's my spot. Oh, Serbia is it. Been to Italy, been to the UK, been to Austria, been to where else? Oh, yeah, been to Latvia, been to Prague. I went to Prague in September. Uh, that's a lot of okay. Trying to think where else did I go? Uh, so I get to it, but Turkey. Turkey is actually kind of like a mix, right? Because Turkey's kind of like on the border of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. So it's different. Turkey's dope, man. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually heading to Portugal in September, and I'm looking forward to going there, man. I want to be there for 4 days and come back.
okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to going somewhere different.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good time, man. Let me see here. Let's see here. Greece, Finland, France, UK, Croatia, Serbia, Poland, Sweden, Hungary. Yeah, I'm just naming off because like I actually have like a list of like all the countries that I've been to. So I just went and pulled it up real quick.
There's a comment by Daniel. All the countries you just named, was there a language barrier? Do many people speak English?
Yeah. So for the most part, English is it, man. You don't need in Europe, you don't really need to speak, that other language. Now, in Turkey, I mean, if you plan on living there, yeah, you definitely gonna need to know some Turkish. But for the most part, yeah, you don't really need it. It's that I can't think of it. Mm, oh no, all right. In Germany, and the same thing in Austria. When you leave the big cities, so if you're in Berlin, you leave Berlin. If you go to like a smaller place like Darmstadt, right, or Rügen, uh, you're gonna need some German. Or if you're going to Frankfurt, if you're going to Munich, if you're going to Cologne, you probably won't need as much German. So you can typically get by in like the major cities or a capital city with just English. I did in Budapest with no problem. Everybody spoke English in Budapest. Is it Hungary? Yeah. So yeah, it's a good look.
Okay. Barker says that will talk to you though.
Wherever you at, honestly. Like I said, because remember, not every stunner gonna be feeling you. That's just how that's even here, man. You can be a millionaire and something, that chick ain't gonna be talking to you. She's like, okay, cool. Bye. I don't need you, but your friend's staring.
Well, let's get back to how to become a product manager. And I know you have a training course that actually teaches the audience how to become one. So let's talk about that.
Yes. So I actually just launched it and I call it Product Management Fundamentals by Tobias. So if you go to, it's actually being hosted on a website called udemy.com. That's udemy.com, udemy.com. Actually, I dropped my link in the back chat. I don't know if you saw it or not. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can add it.
yeah, I can actually open that for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna share the screen right now. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Sharing it.
Oh, well, they got it on sale right now. I see. Okay, so it's kind of hard for me to see.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. I have a huge computer, man. So
Oh, so do I. I got the 35-inch monitor.
mine's 45.
Oh God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, you blow me out the water. Okay.
Can you see
No.
it?
Let's see here. Yes. So this course right here, like I just launched it recently, and the reason why I decided first, to create this course is, I tell folks, I didn't go to college, right? I didn't. I didn't finish, but I still make close to $200,000 a year. And I manage software engineers. It can be done. So this course though right here was created for those who are outside of tech. So you don't work for any tech company. You don't have any technology experience, right? The only technology experience you have is probably, let me go ahead and jump on the gram. Oh, she thick, right? You scrolling and all that. Cool. So, but this is why I built this course, because there's other courses out there, and they'll teach you about product management, but they actually assume you have product management experience. This course is not for those people. This is for, like I said, the plain Joe. Maybe you're a mechanic, maybe you're a photographer, maybe you're a plumber, or you work at FedEx, right? And you're like, you know what, I want to get into something else. And like you hear about this term product manager. So my course, again, it is built for those who come from outside of tech to give you the fundamentals. So, so you can actually understand like some of like the four pillars like of a solid PM, right? First and foremost, you need to be able to communicate well. You need to have great organizational skills. You need to be able to have execution skills, right? To get things done. And execution, communication, that is one other. God dang it, Tobias. But I'm over here fumbling right now. But I wanted to give those who, like I said, don't speak product, like just the ability to, first of all, understand, is product management even right for you? Because the other courses that are online, man, if you look it up at like, I think it's like Product School or 280 Group, they charge like $5,000 up front. And that's a lot of money. That's a heavy upfront investment for something that you may not know if you really want to dive into it like that, right? Where I said my course, I'm like, look, this course is to give you the fundamentals. Right? So you can understand what product management is, and then you can make a decision on, hey, do I want to pursue product management further? Now, what I am going to do after this is I'm actually going to build a program where I'll probably start small, probably take on like whoever buys the course, like those first 2 or 3 people or something, 4 folks. We're going to go through and actually build an app from scratch. But you have to have the fundamentals of, you have to have at least made this purchase so you can understand how a product manager thinks. I even walk through things like, hey, what's a product brief? Why do we need a product brief? How do you write, a product brief? And how do you, write a user story? What is a user story? What is a wireframe? How do you actually create a wireframe? And these are skills that every product manager not must have. It's just, it's baseline. If you don't have these skills as a product, some of these skills as a product, as a PM, you will not be able to get the job done, right? You're not going to even get hired, because whoever you're interviewing with, they're going to start asking you questions about, what prototyping tools have you used? And you'll be like, prototype, what's a prototype? So, but my course goes through all of those, like those fundamental skills. Whereas these other courses, a lot of times they don't teach you. They just assume that you know. I also have this massive product. It's a glossary of terms. That's something I didn't have when I first started out. Like, hey, what are all these words, right? What's a backlog? What's a user story? What's, how do you, what's prioritization? Uh, Most folks will understand what prioritization is, but how do you prioritize your backlog, right? So I go deep into all that, right, with this glossary of terms, and it helps you to familiarize yourself with the lingo. Every every profession has its terminology. That's law, that's medicine, that's technology, right? They all have their lingo, and if you don't speak the lingo, you're not going to get a job, because you'll sound incompetent. right? This is what it comes down to. If you don't speak the lingo, right? I'm sure, like, so with marketing, uh, or with PMP, right, with project management, the word deliverables. Most people aren't saying the word deliverables in their daily vernacular, but we gonna use it. Like, I mean, I don't a lot of times say vernaculars like, well, when's the due date? When are we shipping, right? Or when are we? There's a difference, say, between shipping a product and launching. Like, say, if I want to launch a product, it's gonna be brand new something, right? It's completely brand new. It's never been on, for this company. Or if I'm shipping something, that's usually a feature and addition to, and when to use each one of them. So the glossary of terms, I think, is what wrote all this by hand. It took a long time to write
Well,
all this.
I'm going to say this. Guys. Uh, I have multiple certifications. I have a master's degree, MBA. Even now, I'm still learning new skills, even at my level. Guys, this course is only $14.99 within the next 5 hours. It would not cost you a thing to buy this course just for you to get a better understanding what is what product management is. I'm going to take advantage of it as soon as we log off. Sorry, Tobias. Hey, this is a big discount, man. I'm going to take advantage of this.
I, I haven't even said that discount. That was done by you to me, but I'm like, hey,
hey, you know what?
Hey, sales are sales, right? And I actually, I'm gonna buy it myself anyway. I'm gonna buy it myself just so I get like the rating and so I can have it found a bit more. But yeah, no.
Guys,
Go ahead.
no, I really want to say this. If you guys could waste money on bullshit and not waste money to make yourself a better person, make yourself a better competitive person within today's market, guys, right now there's tons of jobs being let go because people don't have the right skills. And right now in the product management field, there's over 198,000 job listings right now on LinkedIn, and the average salary is 100,000. I co-signed it because I work with product managers, and again, that's the low level scale as far as 100K. The
Yeah,
ones I know, they're making 250, 300. And the thing is, guys, look, it does not cost you a thing right as of right now to purchase this course so you can learn something new, and maybe this may open a whole new door for you. You may feel like, you know what, I like what I'm reading. I'm going to go actually look into this field. Versus you want to pay consultation for some traveling services where you can find online. Guys, look, this is a win-win situation. The only time I'll pay for something that I know is going to make me money. And guys, just an hour before we had Demarcus highlighting cloud space. He works with product managers. He worked closely with them. He's more on the back end. Tobias in the front end. So guys, there's always a demand within these fields, guys. If you want to become a true digital nomad where you have multiple skill sets, where you know what, you can have multiple options in selecting whatever job you want, put yourself in a position to have that. Because again, don't limit yourself to one skill set. Try to have multiple skill sets. So if one job loses, you have another unique skill set where you can find another job that can still make you six figures. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. We live in a digital age where all the information you need to know to get better and become a better version of yourself is online. And again, guys, within our field that making our money, we don't see too many of us. We typically tend to be the token black dude. I'm just keeping it honest. Hey, it is what it is, man. I don't see guys like I don't see black men in my field. I just don't.
Same. I don't.
I'm around Asians, Europeans, Indians, and that's it.
Exactly. That's it.
I'm sorry.
And but the money is there now. Let's jumping back right to to Sweden. I was working at the company Truecaller, and found out, hey, I'm good. I can't be living in Sweden no more. So I came back to the States, and I found I found a job at a company called Guten, located they're in New York City. Now, this was my first remote job. This is in 2015. I've been remote since 2015, right? I have not been in a company office like that. So, I might go into the office periodically, but that daily commute, I haven't had that since 2015. So it's been quite a while. And I've been doing this as a product manager. Now, some companies will ask their product managers, hey, we want you to be, co-located, right? We want you to be where our engineers are and everybody else. Okay, but you don't have to do that anymore. There's so many companies out there now that are very remote friendly. And it's really easy actually to find those jobs. I actually did a video on my channel, about how to find, you can get how you can find like remote jobs on LinkedIn. It's real simple. You just like click a little, you type in whatever job field you're looking for, and you just they have a field or a little drop down menu. It'll say like on-site, hybrid, remote. You just click the remote option, and then it just filters all the jobs to ones that are remote for you. Real simple. And you can just do the location in the United States, and it just gives you all the jobs in America that are that offer remote work for that for the job title. Real easy. And the money, come on now, man. That's why you have to enjoy what you do, but the money also has to be we know, man, it's a major incentive, because if you ain't getting paid, I mean, it's like unless you live in another country. If you live in say if you're living in Brazil and you're making $60,000, okay, that's probably pretty good money. But 160 in Brazil, yeah, it's a little bit more. And product managers, right, especially if you work for a Bay Area company, you're gonna get started minimum probably 140. Right. Well, associate, I'm sorry, associate, you're probably gonna get started at about 120. But I mean, if you're outside of the Bay, man, 120 almost anywhere in America, you sitting real pretty, right? I mean, after taxes, if you're paying them, you still you bring home like $6,800, $7,000, and most people don't make that kind of money.
I knew people during the pandemic. They were easily making over six figures. They were living in Costa Rica,
Mhm.
Colombia, Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic had a lot of digital nomads out there that people didn't know about. They were making over six figures living in Santo Domingo, and yet they were living these sky rises in Santo Domingo. But again, you will never know that they made over 180K living in Dominican Republic, living in Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica, and other places. So guys, man, like there's money to be made out there. Traveling is cool, but it's even better when you make money while traveling.
True. You know what though? One of the To make the money, you must have the skill,
Yeah.
right? You Without the skill, it ain't gonna happen. So this is why, like with my course, this is like the first level of it. I said I'm gonna be expanding upon it. So I want to be able to take on, like I said, between like 2 and 4 people max, and we're gonna actually build out an app so you gain the real world experience of, okay, hey, what's a problem that we can actually solve for? Uh, you know, so here's the problem. Here's why it's a problem. Here's who it affects, right? You have what's called the total addressable market. All these people. You have the total serviceable market. Like I said, we'll be getting deeper into all that. But then, once you created that, and I'll also walk you through writing, again, like the product brief. Or product brief. People say business case. They're the same thing. And basically, again, it outlines this problem, why it's a problem, who's affected, and all that stuff. What they're doing to actually solve the problem. Here are some potential solutions for it. We'll select one, and then we're going to break that. We'll break the work down, right, into actionable chunks. Right. Say, hey, then let's build this. Okay, well, why do we want to build this? Because of X, Y, and Z. Great. Then, well, that sounds great, but what does that actually look like? We need to prioritize and like structure that work and turn it in, like when I say bite-sized chunks. That's work for an engineer to actually code. So, and have, like, I got a designer on hand, she'll be working with me. Yeah, and I want to be able to give folks that experience of going, hey, you know what? I built this thing, and your names will be on it. So this will be an app. We're gonna build it that will hit the app store. Doesn't mean it's gonna make any money. It's not about that. It's about giving you that real world experience. Because this is the most important thing. There's a lot of product managers who never went to college. Some did. Uh, it doesn't that many product managers have, there's the saying is there's many avenues to the road of becoming a PM, and everyone's is different. Not every there's only, I think there's like two universities right now or three that actually offer an actual course, right? A curriculum in product management. That's Stanford, that's UC Berkeley High School of Business, and I think Carnegie Mellon. And each of them schools is going to hit you for
Yeah.
two, or a bachelor's, right? It's going to hit you for like 200,000 total.
I think more than that.
Yeah, I mean,
Stanford,
that's 200,000 with, I don't know. Actually, no, you're right, because Stanford right now is like 75,000 a year.
Yeah.
Who wants that? Come on, that's $300,000 in student loan debt. Who wants to make 300? Why go put yourself in $300,000 worth of student loan debt to make a paycheck that's like 160, 170, $180,000, unless you get hired on at Google and you making 350, 400, but they're not, they just let go a bunch of people.
I mean, Google just literally laid off 12,000 people.
You know what though? Most of those people were actually Indians on H-1B visas.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, a lot of them were H-1B.
You know what? I was in the airport. I flew back in yesterday from Miami back to Atlanta. I saw a lot of Indians in the airport. I was like,
yeah, no,
I don't want to laugh. It's just like, I was like, damn, there's a lot of Indians in here today.
Yeah, but I mean, hold about people though, right? Google let them go, but they also got 4 months severance. So that's 4 months worth of their pay. Man, come on now. Whether you're an engineer, product manager, designer, you got four, and you got to go back to India. You got 4 months, and a Google product manager, and the low end is like 220 a year.
Yeah.
So that's the low end. So 220, right? Divided by There's 12 months in a year. Fuck you, hold on, and you got four paychecks. Man, that's still gonna be like 50, 40 grand almost, or whatever that is. In India, man, they sitting pretty. I don't want to hear nothing. So
and also too, guys, like, this is not talked about openly, but a lot of these folks that are coming from other countries, they have fake degrees, fake certifications. They just BS their way up top, to be honest. And I don't want to say it, but it is what it is. I've been in the IT space for quite a while, and I'm not naming any particular country, but I'm just saying, you just be mindful, like, hey, if they could BS their way through the process, you could do the same. But honestly, if you got the chance to learn from someone, learn.
true. You know what? Years ago, it was one of my homeboys. I'm not gonna say his name. White dude. He was like, Tobias, white people lie on their resumes all the time.
Yeah.
And hold on, and who's a great example of this? I can't remember his name, but he's a former CEO of Yahoo, and he was like, "Oh, I have a degree in like mathematics, and I have one in like economics or something like that." And he had the economics, but he didn't have the mathematics, degree. And somebody who knew, he must not have paid him. That's what I'm thinking. They probably approached him like, "Yo, you need to give me some paper." And they doxed him, they outed him, and then Yahoo fired him because he'd been there for a number of years, but because he didn't have a degree, they let him go. But I'm like, why would you let him go? So what? Oh, integrity. How much money he done made? How many years he been there? He didn't prove he can do the job. What the degree got to do with anything? A lot of times degrees are great for measuring the temperature.
Yeah.
So unless you got something in like law or something like that, or STEM, yeah, your degree, I can say the degree is definitely meaningful. But them underwater basket weaving degrees, I don't know.
I can't say this enough, guys. It's $14.99. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt for you to purchase this right now within the next 5 hours and take advantage of learning a potential new skill set. Again, this may be something that you may have an interest in, where you want to take a deeper dive into it. As for me, as a digital marketer, I do work closely with product management team. I will be downloading this because I need to know how I can actually work more effectively, especially now in today's job market. You got to find any means necessary to keep you for you to have the competitive edge, so you can compete against your peers. Again, if you're interested in getting into the cloud, or you're interested in getting into the product management side, guys, surround yourself to people that you want to be around. and make the money that you make. Because again, I like all of my friends to make six figures. And when we travel to another country, we're not penny pinching. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. We all making good money. Let's go out and enjoy ourselves and have a good time. Let's buy bottles. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's no sweet.
Correct. I want to answer Big H Travel's question, right? He was asking about it, what about experience? Now, you can, like with my first course, right? The experience, first get the knowledge, and that's why I said, hey, I want to build on top of that. Hey, I want, a couple folks to come on with me and we build an app from scratch. Because when you have that on your resume, you can have no experience whatsoever. Like, so you could be a plumber and you're like, hey, I took this product management course. I'm looking to be a product manager. And you're applying for the right role, because if you see a senior product manager role and they're saying, hey, you need 5 years of experience, that it really doesn't make any sense to try to apply for that. But there are many roles where they'll say, hey, 0 to 2 years, and they say even in lieu of a degree, we'll take experience. And you have on your resume, hey, I studied this course, I actually built this app, right? And you can actually and you put the link in your in your resume. So especially the digital form, they can click that link, they can go to the app store and like, oh, okay, this is what it does. And now I'm not saying we're going to build the next Uber, because that's just some folks don't know how massive of a project will be, how big of a project that would be to build Uber, or to build like Airbnb or something like that, or even Instagram. But you can still start smaller, and that's what companies are looking for. They want to see your what's called your product sense, right? Because you ever been using the app and you're just like, this thing could be so much better if it could just do this, because it just doesn't feel right to you. Something else should be there, or it's not working right. If you're like, and it's kind of a hassle. That's what we call your product sense, and like, if it could just do this. That's your job, to make it so it can just do that and make it better, right? That's your job. So creating an experience for those who purchase the course. So we walk through all of that together, and I'm gonna quiz you on it, right? Definitely, because I want to make sure you fully understand the job. Because again, it's a lot of fun, but it can also be very trying, because we're gonna be talking to actual people who are going to use the app, right? For real, you have to do that customer research. If you don't like talking to people, just first, if you don't like talking to people, product management is not for you. If you're not a communicator, if you don't like just talking in general, right? I can get on one of my lives, I can talk for an hour and a half straight, and I'm talking to nobody, just like this to the camera. I might have some like my bullet points, but I can just keep going and going. If you don't like communicating, product management is not for you. But if you do, and you like solving problems, where you like the person back in the day, your people, your friends come to you, hey, you know what, man, we can't get our VCR to work. Can you come help us out? Can you come try to fix it? Or I can't get the Nintendo to work, right? You didn't went and got the game. You trying to fix it, right? You're a problem solver. You're trying to think through, like, okay, the goal is this. I want to get this game to work, but when I turn the power button on, I keep seeing this fuzzy screen. And you go through your process of elimination till you actually find the solution. That's what product management is. And doing that for like with apps, man, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it pays very, very well. It is. It's a lot of fun. It pays well. It's rewarding, because I remember when I first when we launched the game Jelly Splash, and we made a really big marketing push throughout Berlin for the game. So I'd be on the subway going to work, and I would see people playing my game. The game, I'm like, man, that is dope, right? It's a really, really amazing thing to see people enjoying something that you built, or that you had a hand in building. So it was nice, man. I gotta say that it's like I say, it's very, very rewarding. So,
Well, hey Tobias, I purchased the course. I got it.
oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I got it. So definitely, I bookmarked it already. So I'll start tomorrow. And again, I'm taking it as a way, as when I do more interviews, if there are questions around product management, then you know what, based on your notes and based on what you're teaching in this course, I could probably leverage that as part of my conversation. So again, guys, I'm always finding ways to make more money and keeping my skills sharp, especially in today's market. So
Hey,
definitely.
don't be lazy in your learning, right? I'm not. Some people may not be familiar with Jim Rohn. That man, oh wow, listen to him all the time. But don't be lazy in your learning, gentlemen. Don't always want to keep learning, keep your skills up, get better because yeah, times are changing. And I mean, like for folks, a lot of us, some folks may have uh, jobs in customer support, and that chat AI, that chat GPT
I
is
got
going to,
that.
yeah, man, it's going to come and remove a lot of those jobs. Now, it's not going to remove all of them because there's still nuance that a computer will never or an AI will never be able to deal with or work with those. But for like simple questions, oh yeah, man, it's going to take away a lot of jobs. It's going to kill because they've already been taking away jobs, right, from American folks who might be working in customer support and they ship them to the Philippines. How many times you can call your cell phone company and you hear somebody with a Filipino accent on the phone? They're going to even pull them from them, right? They're going to pull them from them completely because they won't need them. They don't got to pay no wages. They ain't got to take no breaks.
I
None
mean,
of that.
guys, keep in mind we're moving into an automation phase.
Correct.
It's going to be automated. Like I was in Miami. I went to Walmart and they had no cashiers. I walked into a Walmart with no cashiers. All they had was self checkouts. And I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. So that tells you the next 10 to 20 years, a lot of these jobs will be automated. If you don't have a certain skill set or certain skills that's going to keep you employed or a business, you're gonna fall to the wayside, guys. And it's happening. And I have my youngest son. He's 11 years old. He's doing coding. He goes to and coach and ninja coding during the summertime. He's doing like video editing. Like I'm teaching him early that hey, listen, by the time you turn 18, you may not need to go to college. You have all the skills you need to get hired.
Exactly. It's like for real. Uh, for, if you know what, if you don't sharpen your skills, right, or or continue to gain more skills, you will fall behind, and then trying to play catch up, right? That's a hard race to you, right? 'Cause, I mean, we already know, right, that uh, many black folks had a tough time growing up. I was one of them, but now that you know better, well, now that when you know better, we can do better. We got this, you got a computer, you got your phone with
Hmm.
all the information in the world at your disposal. What are you going to do with it, right? Because it's not what happens, right? But it's what you do about it. Because what happens to just about everybody. Disappointments are not special gifts reserved for the poor, right? Rich folks got disappointments too. They might have a different kind, but disappointments, or they come and they go. How do we handle those? We got to get better, right? We gotta get better. How do we get better? That starts with learning. Find something that pays, that you enjoy, and either you go work for somebody else and then you start your own, or maybe you just want to go harder. You think you can go hard to paint and start your own, whatever that is. But get better, right? Don't be lazy in your learning.
Yeah, yeah. This is great, man. It's been over an hour and a half. So I want to use this last segment to talk about your travel plans for this year.
Yeah.
You and I talked offline. You're gonna have a busy schedule this year, so let's talk about it, man. Where you heading next, and what your next 2 year goals for traveling?
So next, okay. Sorry about that. All right. Uh, the travel plans for this year. So I'm gonna be laying low most likely for the next 6 months, right? Because I got some things I got in the works right now. Come June, I'm gonna take my son to Thailand. We're gonna be there for a good minute. He can go see his family and all that. Then I'm gonna come back. He's going off to college, right, in August. Then I'm most likely either gonna move, I'm gonna return to Thailand, or I'm gonna move to Argentina,
Okay,
because
wait. You say move? You mean move permanently or just move? Temp-
I'm on the way.
oh
Yeah,
wow, you're
I'm
leaving,
moving.
you're leaving
Yes,
us.
I'm leaving the States. Yeah. So
okay,
that's why it's like I was going to travel some more, but then I really had to give my goals some thoughts. And when you really think about things, you want to solidify them. You're like, all right, this is what I want to achieve. This is the what and the why. All right. Everything else that doesn't align with that, you can put it on the back burner. Right. And that's, what I've done. So yeah, I know where I want to be. And I got my goals. Man, goals. Oh man, write them down. I look at them every day,
awesome,
say them out loud. Right?
awesome.
Yeah, it's just a belief system here, man. That's what it is. So, yeah, gonna be moving on the way, and yeah, I got to make that happen. So, yeah, it's still gonna be shooting content. I might, sneak in a, quick trip someplace. I don't know just yet. But, for the most part, yeah, I'm gonna be laying low for a little bit this year until it's time to, to catch those two flights.
Wow. Hey, you know what? I'm super proud of you. I'm definitely impressed by your, the way you carry yourself, the way you conduct yourself traveling and everything else. Same here. I'm actually laying low for the next 6 months. Going to grind. I'm going to study. I'm getting my AWS certification, but now I'm going to do this product management course. Hopefully, I can do it in a week. And again, I just want to better myself. I'm trying to get 2 contracts under my belt this year. That's
Okay.
and
Cool. You
stack
can do
work.
it.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I mean, traveling is going to take a setback. It just what I'm just going to just focus on making money. And if I do decide to travel, trust me, I'm gonna go hard. But between
True.
between now and traveling, I'm gonna just sit back and learn. Stay in the gym, keep a routine, and everything else, man. But hey, I'm super excited to have you on this platform today. Thank you so much, man. I know it's getting late. Do you want to close it out, man? What advice and tips you would give someone out there?
Mm, advice and tips. Firstly, advice. Set your goals high, man. Well, think about some goals. Think about where you want to be in life, and write them down, because we don't want to leave something like our goals to our memory, because a lot of times we'll forget about stuff. If you write your goals down and you make it a habit to look at them every day and define them. Like, I mean, you might say, hey, I want to make $500,000 a year. I want to make $500,000 annually. Okay, write it down. How do you think you can obtain that money? Or, I want this big house with the boat and some other water toys, and be able to, support my family. Right. That's an amazing goal to have. Write it down. Then think about, okay, well, how can I make this happen? How can I because, if you don't define your goals, like if you don't write your goals down, you'll forget them. You won't really act on them. You look at anyone who's successful, I guarantee you, if you study them, you'll see that they have their goals and they wrote them all down, and they looked at them probably every day, a couple times a day, just to keep them motivated. Right, the self-motivation that comes from within you. Have some goals. The next thing, tip: study people who have done what you want to do. Study them. What did they do right? What did they do wrong? If they got a biography, read it, or go get the audiobook. Right? There's a whole bunch of, man, I've been finding so many audiobooks on YouTube right now for free. It's ridiculous.
I have 10 audiobooks on my phone right now, which
Yeah, man.
I go take my walk. I'm listening to an audiobook on my phone. I have 10 audiobooks
Same.
on my phone.
When I go run, right, in the mornings, I'm listening to audiobooks. Now, I used to, I love house music, right? Oh, I love house. I don't even listen to it anymore when I run. I listen to it when I'm out kicking or partying, but I listen to audiobooks because they, they edify you, they help you learn. That's what's going to be able to set you apart from other cats that, who may be doing the same thing you are. You gotta continue learning. So read or find some audiobooks. I mean, whether it's about, investing, saving, product management, uh, you know AWS certifications, but find something that's going to help you grow as an individual. That I gotta say, it's helped tremendously for just my mindset. So
Okay. Well, hey, Tobias, I know it's getting late. Well, it's late on my end, and
yeah.
not on yours.
Look,
I just want to say thank you so much. Definitely, man. If you ever need me on your platform, I'll be there for sure. And hopefully, I look forward to meeting you somewhere in Argentina or somewhere in Europe.
we're gonna have to make it happen, man. We're gonna connect. Like I said, actually, I want to come to ATL, man. I've never been. I haven't seen much of the states. Like I said, I've been to 46 countries, but have not seen much of the states
You're
at
not
all.
missing anything here in Atlanta. Trust me, you're not missing.
He's like, "Yo, you're not missing
I
during."
rather come to you if you're in Argentina or somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
Let me
we'll make
come
it happen.
out towards your way and just hang out from there.
Hey man, as long as you speak some Spanish, it's gonna be
Hey,
on. Yeah, it'll be good. So
all good.
appreciate it for bringing me on, man. Everybody else, appreciate you for tuning in. Canole, man, thank you for that purchase. I appreciate it. I do.
No problem, man. Like I said, I brought it because I do work with product managers. So now I can have a good understanding as far as what the life of a product manager is. So when I do speak to them, I can understand some of the lingos and everything else. Again, I'm
Yeah.
taking these courses to better myself as a marketer. So it is what it is. But
Awesome.
but thanks a lot, and Tobias the Traveler, man. I wish you good luck, and I know you're gonna have a busy week with your podcast.
Yes, sir.
And definitely we'll talk later, man. Appreciate
All right. Thanks. Cheers.
it. Bye, everyone. Yeah, guys. Again, today was a doubleheader. Yeah, I wanted to get this in the forefront where we're going to start a spotlight series where we highlight real digital nomads who make six figures. I'm not, talking to guys that claim to be digital nomad, but these are actual digital nomads who are making money while traveling the world. I want to see you guys grow in your profession as well. I'd love to see more of us in the leadership roles making that money. So when we do meet up overseas, we could buy bottles and not even, sweat about it. You know what I mean? So, but it's just been a long day, but it's been a great day. Just getting to know these guys within the groups, and hopefully I can meet these guys in person and break bread. So, guys, please take the time to learn a new skill set, especially in the line of IT. IT is very broad. Again, you got the soft side and you have the hard side. Find an area where you feel great about, that you want to learn more, and start getting those certifications or take a course. Guys, there's a lot of money to be made out here. There's no reason why us as Black men can make this money while living remotely, living our best lives. I'm tired of this struggle, life. I'm tired of, struggle traveling. Listen, man, put yourself in a position to win in all facets of your lives, personally, physically, mentally, spiritually. Put yourself in a better position. Always find a way to better yourself. And again, let's make this money. Like for real, let's make this money. I understand, people want to talk about women, this and that, whatever. There's a time and place for that. Right now, the time is for us to build, make money, and travel. Women will always be there. When you're making that money and you're making $200,000, trust me, you have shitload of options. Guys, just take the time to learn a new skill. The life of a digital nomad. I am a digital nomad. I've been a digital nomad for 10 years. I have friends who are digital nomads, and now today you guys met two successfully young Black men who are digital nomads living their best lives, guys. Take the time, put in the effort, work on yourself, go to the gym, if you got any emotional baggage, deal with it. Go seek therapy. Go see the doctor, guys. Go see the doctor. Go get your annual checkup. Let's live our best lives, man. I'm tired of this whole narrative being pushed upon us as Black men traveling. We're not traveling for women. We're traveling for peace of mind and better experiences. It is what it is. Kanal Thomas, Black Men Travels. Thank you so much for today. Today was a double header, back-to-back podcast with two unique digital nomads. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Please make sure to like the videos and stay tuned. More content coming out. I'm still editing my Thailand content. I still have a lot of content that I still haven't pushed out yet, but it's coming out. So with that being said, thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care.